squatting, and let's talk about that foot that tends to want to turn out. So if you try to squat and you look down, you're like, wow, why does one foot want to drift out? It could be a bony difference in your hip. Like one hip is just sitting, the bony structure itself, you were born with a different bony structure in one hip than the other. That's common, that can happen. But a lot of times it is a muscular issue. You might have more tightness in those deep hip rotators on one side of your hip than the other. And when your glutes are tight or your piriformis is tight, it makes you want to turn your foot out to be able to get more depth in your squat range. Okay, so if my hand is the glute muscle and I go to sit down, all right, glute muscle faces this way. So if I go to sit down in my squat, I'm pulling where my fingers are and I'm pulling back here where my base of my palm is. So I'm essentially getting a length. But if I turn my foot out, do you see how it shortens the side? And so when I do that, I'm able to go even lower down in my squat. So what we want to look at is loosening up these hip muscles before squatting to see if that will help give you additional depth, range, and comfortableness with your squat without feeling like you're going to fall over backwards. All right, so join me for a little airplane. So what I want you to do is take your hand, place it on your tailbone, place the other one on the front of your pubic bone. I want you to drop your tailbone down. You're going to go into a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. Then you're going to kickstand this leg back and you're going to pivot forward. So you're going to give me a slightly bent knee. Tailbone is still dropped, so I want to make sure you don't fall forward into an anterior tilt. So tailbone is still dropped, but you're going to relax this glute. You're not going to hold it clutched. So you're going to relax and let the femur sit back in the socket. Glute is relaxed, tailbone is dropped down. Then you're going to pop this leg up. You can hold on if you need to, and you're just going to keep that tailbone drop down. You're going to pivot over your hip. Okay, so what this looks like is here, and you're going to pivot, closing off the space over your hip. Now, you'll get less pinching if you keep that tailbone drop down. So if you stick your bottom out, then you're going to possibly be more likely to pinch here. So keep that tailbone drop down, and then you can pivot. And what I want you to do is just hang. You're just going to hang here. We're asking that glute to lengthen. We're making it lengthen, and then we're asking it just to hold. And you're just gonna sit here and hold, lower abs engaged, tailbone drop just a little, so you're not spilling forward, okay? We're not trying to overload the hamstring here. We are trying to work on lengthening this glute. So you're just gonna hold that. Try to give me 10, 20, 30 seconds if it feels comfortable. And then go back and try that squat again and see how your foot feels for wanting to turn out versus not wanting to turn out, and see what happened to the response of your hip. All right, so give that a shot. You can also try if you have trouble sitting cross-legged. Give it a try to sit cross-legged and see if your hip now feels different when you go to squat, and the amount of level of depth you're able to get with your squat or level you want your foot turned out changes.